Hey, what's up? Justin back here with another video. So today we're going to try to show you how to use Reverb and make it sound a little bit more professional. So the first thing we do, well, I guess let's listen to this song first. I played it in another video, but let's just show it again.
Not even 1 week away from her and I'm going crazy. I thought that I was the one for her and maybe I'm crazy.
Okay, so we got the vocals, the track, it's unmixed as it is right now. Everything's sort of balanced, it's acceptable, but there's a lot of mixing to do. But the first thing you notice is the vocals very dry, so we kind of listen to it. On this particular song, I might choose to go with more of a delay as opposed to a reverb, but for argument's sake, let's just say, reverb is the wise decision on this track. So what I do is I create an insert and send it to a new bus, and we'll call this verb, and then just load up one of just any verb, doesn't matter. I'll just use this one, and then what I'll do is I'll just scroll through. I'm not a huge user of presets, but in certain situations I do believe they help make the creative process go a little bit easier, such as reverbs and effects like flangers and stuff. But with compression and EQ, I'd rather not use presets, but yeah, so I'll scroll through some presets, I'll find one that sounds half decent, and then we'll go from there.
Not even 1 week away from her and I'm going crazy. I thought that I was the one for her and maybe I'm crazy. This was no concern back when I believed that I was sent to her and thought that she was sent to me. What did I do wrong? What did she want? I'll never know, 'cause I was lost.
Yeah, so as it is right now, the reverb's pretty loud, but as I'm choosing presets or scrolling through them, I like to have the reverb more loud so I can hear how it interacts with the song and how it relates to the vocal. And I mean, I could probably scroll through a bunch more presets, but just for time's sake, that one sounds pretty decent so far. So the next thing we need to do is we need to somehow move the reverb back a little bit so that it doesn't interfere with the vocal itself. So the way I would do that is take out my calculator, you do 60,000, and then you find the BPM, which is up here. Well, it might not be up in your BPM counter. If it isn't, you have to find out what it is, but in this case it's 122. So divide it by 122, and that gives me 491.8, and that is a quarter note. So I bring in my calculator here. Quarter note is say 490. Let's just round it up. 492. Then we can divide this by 2, and we get, say, 246. And then the 16th would be, what is that, 123? 123. The 32nd would be, what, 61 and a half, I guess. So 61.5. 64th. So, and you can keep going if you want, but that's sufficient for now. Okay, so the reason why we do 60,000 is because when you think about it, 122 is beats per minute. So you got to figure out how many milliseconds are in a minute, because when we're doing our quarter notes or eighth notes or 16th, those are all in milliseconds. So There's 1,000 milliseconds in 1 second. Oops. And there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So if you multiply those two together, 1,000 and 60, you get 60,000. It's pretty simple. So now what we can do is we can use these as a gauge for our reverb, for our pre-delay. So we can start off with 31. Let's try that.
Not even 1 week away from her and I'm going crazy.
Okay, so it's got a pretty cool little bounce. So our next is 61 and a half. I'm not sure if this will do a half, but let's try. Okay, let's see how that sounds.
Not even 1 week away from her and I'm going crazy.
Alright, that was not bad. Let's try 123 now.
Not even 1 week away from her and I'm going crazy.
Alright, so I think I like that one the best so far, and I don't think this particular reverb will go any higher. So I just like how it now the vocals can come through a little bit more to the mix, and it puts the reverb a little bit further back. So the only other thing I would probably do is play with the release time a little bit. Let's see how that sounds.
Not even 1 week away from her and I'm going crazy. I thought that I was the one for her and maybe I'm crazy. Not even 1 week away from her and I'm going crazy. I thought that I was the one for her and maybe I'm crazy. Not even 1 week away from her and I'm going crazy.
Alright, that sounds pretty cool. So it's still pretty obnoxiously loud, but the point is when you're mixing anything, especially reverbs and stuff like that, at least my belief is turn it up as loud as you possibly can without, obviously destroying your ears. And by turn it up, I mean the actual reverb, not your speakers. But that allows you to hear the timing and the nuances and how does it sound musically with the song. So if you just slap a reverb on, turn it down right away just so that it's kind of in there, and then you start tweaking, you're not really hearing the musicality of it. So once you get it to where you want it musically, then at that point, then you can start turning it down.
Not even 1 week away from her and I'm going crazy. I thought that I was the one for her and maybe I'm crazy. This was no concern back when I believed that I was sent to her and thought that she was sent to me. What did I do wrong? Not even 1 week away from her and I'm going crazy.
Alright, that's it. Pretty simple. So you don't want the reverb to stick out too much unless it's a stylistic thing, but if I take the reverb away, you'll notice it right away. So you shouldn't notice it that much, but let me do a bypass and an unbypass, and you'll see.
Not even 1 week away from her and I'm going crazy. I thought that I was the one for her and maybe I'm crazy.
So yeah, just gives the vocal a little bit of an interesting space. Again, like I said, I'd probably use delay on this track, but just to give you an idea of how you can play with your reverb and make it sound good. So again, use your calculator if you have to, or you can pull out your favorite delay unit and you can get a quarter note, and then once you start dividing your quarter note by 2 every time, then you start getting into your 8th note, your 16th, your 32nd, your 64th, and you want that pre-delay to be timed with the track. And yeah, don't worry too much about the release on the reverb. Get that tail to kind of taper off in a musical way. And yeah, so have fun with that. Until next one, take care.